room and got to say, "Booyah!" That was. Thank you. Hi.
I was messing with the camera, and I don't hold the scroll up long enough to, so it's all blurry.
Oh. Okay, sorry.
It's all right. It's not your fault. You did good.
Okay, good.
That was good. How was it working with Seth?
Where's Mom?
With?
Seth Green.
I've only met Seth a couple times. I wasn't working with him in the room for that.
Oh, okay.
For video games, we generally work by ourselves.
Yeah.
But I've met Seth at the studio, usually when he's on his way in and I'm on my way out. We were working on Hulk Agents of Smash together,
Yeah?
but never in the same room at the same time. So I didn't really get to have a conversation with him until we were at Comic-Con. I think it was last year or the year before, and realized that we had worked on a ton of stuff together. He's an awesome guy. He's really funny, really geeky, one of the smartest people I've ever met. He's amazing. I mean, he spent the whole party, I think, talking to Dave Filoni we were there for Star Wars Rebels at the time, and he was talking to Dave about action figures and how he likes to tear them apart and reconstruct them for a show. So anybody with that kind of mentality is awesome by me.
Seth Green?
Yes.
Oh.
Seth Green. Love you, Seth. I know you're watching because you watch everything I do. Probably. You're sleeping or doing something more important. And I support you in that.
Do you get starstruck when you meet other celebrities?
You know, for on-camera celebrities, I don't know who anybody is because I hardly watch TV and I'm really behind on movies. So I'm more embarrassed than anything else because usually I'll be standing next to some luminary in a booth, the next microphone over, and everybody in the room is going, "Oh my God, do you know who that is?" And I'll go, "No." And so I'm that idiot in the room. I have no idea. I get starstruck when they do a really great job in the booth, when they're really, really committed. And working with people like Frank Welker, for example, Frank Welker and Peter Cullen, working with them on Transformers, I was like an 8-year-old squeeing on the inside. You know, Peter Cullen he's an amazing, well put together gentleman of Hollywood with a pencil-thin mustache. And he comes in there and, he's like this tall and he's fit. And he walks up to the microphone. "Hi, how are you? Everything good? Yeah, great." Okay, and then he walks up to the microphone and he goes, "Roll out." The windows are flexing and our bowels are vibrating. And that's when I had my sweet moment of, "Oh my God, you're the voice of my childhood." Oh my God. Even though I was like 25 when I first heard you. Yeah, so those guys, and Frank Welker, who's done the voice of every Disney creature you've ever heard, D. Bradley Baker, I mean, some of these guys are just legendary. Rob Paulson, Maurice LaMarche, some of these guys have been my heroes for years. And when I walk into the room with those guys and I'm standing mic to mic with them and we're working on the same thing as equals, it's like, oh my God, how did I get here?
Jim
I don't
Cummings.
deserve this. It's awesome.
Yeah, I get it. I met him a month ago. I was in his panel.
Who did you meet?
Peter Cullen.
Oh, Peter Cullen, yeah.
And they were in there, they were having the Transformer voice fight, and I was like,
Yeah. It's kind of surreal, right?
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's amazing.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Was that my last question?
I don't know. Was it?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
What about Jim Cummings?
Jim Cummings is one of the most talented humans on the planet, and one of the nicest guys I've ever met too. I love Jim. I've gotten to be friends with him over the years, and he doesn't know it, but I consider him like one of my voice mentors. He's amazing. He's Pooh and Tigger. I mean, amazing.
Darkwing Duck.
And Darkwing Duck, yeah, and so many others. Fire away. Hello again.
Yeah, hello again. There's one question I wanted to ask. How would you describe your experience voicing Whitlock in Guild Wars 2?
Whitlock Brimstone. I am Char. Deep. That's how I would describe it. I would record him here, and they would pitch it down another semitone or two. That is the deepest, craziest voice. Beautifully animated character, though, and amazing. Apparently, people really love him. So I guess it's going okay.
The giant cat with flaming swords.
Pardon me?
We have the flaming sword. What else?
Yeah, what else do you need if you have a flaming sword, honestly? Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for that.
Real quick before I get to my question, did you ever hear the story about how Peter Cohen came up with the voice for Optimus Prime?
I heard that he based it on his brother.
Yeah, he said, well, just the story I heard, when his brother came back from the Vietnam War, his voice was completely changed.
Yes.
And he kind of mimicked that in the voice of the character.
Yeah.
That was one of the best voice actor stories I've ever heard.
Yeah, Peter has deep reverence for his brother, and he considers his brother to be the real hero. And he talks about that all the time. It's amazing. That's one of the things I respect about him, is he takes it from real life. And the words that he says as Optimus Prime are real. I mean, that's truly the way he feels. He has this great outlook for the world, and he sees the good in people, and that translates through this character. And how great is it to have a character where you can bring that to life?
That is awesome. My question was going to be, was there any character in any media that you've seen that you thought, I would have liked to have voiced that character, or I could have done it better? I know it's kind of a big-headed thing to say, like, I can do a better job of this guy, but more like, I would have liked to have done that character, like anything, like even going back to like the Disney movies from the 30s, was there any character you thought you would have liked to have done?
Well, I would have liked to have done Goofy, just because I thought I did a pretty good job at it, until I met Bill Farmer. And I'm in the room with him, and I was working on a show with him, and I went, hey, how you doing, Bill? He does Goofy so naturally, he just blew me away. I went, oh my God, that was good. Oh man, he's got the yuck, man. Oh my God. So, and I've been like that with every character that I've ever thought that I could do a pretty good job on. I mean, I thought that I'd be really good for Batman, just because that's sort of in my normal speaking range. I thought I could do a good Batman. And then I met Kevin Conroy, and it's like, oh, no, you're Batman. You're Batman. You're Batman.
It just confuses me whenever like they bring out something with Batman and they don't get Kevin Conroy. I'm like,
yeah, well, I do like to hear different people's takes on it, and I find them interesting. Troy Baker did a great version of it. Roger Craig Smith did an incredible version of Batman. So different, younger and different. And I like to hear it changed up from time to time. And the great thing is that most of us, when we get to this level in voiceover, we're not too precious about the roles. And some of us will cry a little bit. I was not cast as Wolverine on a few projects. I went, well, what did I do? But then I listened to it, and it's a completely different take on it. They're going to a different place, and it was interesting and fun. And I thought, I don't own this role. It's not mine. I'm just a voice actor. So I've really held a philosophy that it doesn't belong to me, and that I'm just going to do the best job I can on the roles that I have, and I'm not going to lust after the ones that I don't. I've been so blessed in my career. I can't believe I get to do what I get to do.
still, I think if they brought out like another Cowboy Bebop movie with you not in it, I think that'd be odd.
Well, they were talking about doing a live-action one for a while, which is not something I'd want to do. I wouldn't want to be the live-action Spike, but I would love to do like a voiceover cameo in it. Maybe an introduction to it in the original Spike voice, that sort of thing.
I keep hearing these horrible rumors that they want to get Keanu Reeves as Spike Spiegel.
Well, that was more than a rumor, and it was. Keanu was attached to it, actually. He was attached to the film. And I didn't know what to think about it either, but I met him in an airport years ago, and I was on my way to England. He was on his way to New York, and we met in one of these little stores, and I had kind of a little fanboy moment, and I was super curious, because the fans have been asking me for years, and I had to ask him what he thought about it. And I came up to him, and I shook his hand, and I explained who I was, and I thought he was just going to go, oh God, here comes another fan. But he goes, dude, you did Spike's voice? And I went, yeah? And he goes, I know who you are. And I went, what? Keanu Reeves knows who I am. And he had watched the series front to back. He knew it inside and out, and he loved it. And he said, dude, I want to do such a great job on this thing. And he goes, and I will kill myself to make this exactly what Watanabe's vision is for it. And the only problem is that it's going to cost $500 million to produce, and if it ever gets greenlit, I'll probably be too old to do my own stunts. That was his only concern. But he has the right body type for it, he had the right attitude for it, and he was willing to do the work necessary to get the character there, and I have mad respect for him. He's a great man. He's actually a really good human being, too.
Maybe dub over his voice?
No, but I would do, maybe like a younger version intro or something, because I can pitch the voice up. It doesn't matter what I look like, but I could, I would do like an intro with Spike or even another character, just a narrator kind of thing. that would satisfy that for me. I wouldn't want to do the on-camera thing, it's not my thing.
Like-
It's like Hugh Jackman doing Wolverine. He's my Wolverine on camera. So, you know, I
It
would
was
never
like
care.
Jackie Chan when he did it for Jackie Chan Adventures. At the end of the credits, he did a little
Yeah.
question to the little boy at the
I don't want to work out
station.
that hard. That's hard work, man. I like my dad bod.
I better let the next person go.
How crazy was it voicing Garcia Hotspur in Shadows of the Dam? Did you ever just, what am I reading right now?
Do you guys know what this is? Shadows of the Dam. Are you aware of this? I was brought in at the last minute for this one. It was completely recorded. Shadows of the Dam was recorded by a Castilian-Spanish actor who did a beautiful job, but his accent was a bit too heavy. So they needed somebody who could come in and do a little bit of a lighter accent that was a little more understandable. And I also had a better feel for, I think, the action sequences, the fighting stuff, because it's what I do. And I think originally I was just brought in to do some fight scenes for him, but they realized that they really needed to redo it, and it was a last-minute thing. I had to record that whole thing, and it was either one session or two sessions. Everything was completely done. And I said, so do you want me to do Castilian Spanish, or do you want me to do something else? And they said, well, actually, he's Mexican, but we want a little bit of Spanish in there, so just do like a bad Spanish accent. And I said, well, you got the right guy for that. So it was fun, it was fast and furious, and one of the weirdest things I'd ever done. The stuff that I got to say, talking about my gun being this is okay for kids, the boner. The gun was the boner. And then I found out recently that it was Greg Ellis who voiced my weapon, and I had no idea. We've been working together a lot on other things, and we've just been laughing about that ever since.
That's awesome,
So
thank you.
you can imagine what those conversations are like at the bar. Hi.
Can I just say your voice is extremely sexy?
Oh, thank you. Yours is pretty hot too.
And I was wondering if you can tell me, see you space cowgirl and then go bang.
First of all, I love the kind of woman that can kick my ass.
Okay.
You guys know where that's from, right?
Yes.
Okay. See a space cowgirl. Bang.
Oh my God.
I hope you're wearing protection. A child was conceived on the stage at Realmscon. I'm 3 months now. Gone. Sorry. But I digress.
What would you say has changed the most in the voice acting field since you began?
Well, I would say, can you guys hear? Did you hear this question? I think the biggest thing that's changed is the audience, honestly, because when I started, I was doing anime when otaku hated voice actors from America. It was the subbers versus the dubbers big time back then, and the first convention I went to, I actually had death threats. People threw things at me, they threatened me, they said that I was ruining the art form, people like me should not be doing this, and anime will never be dubbed properly, and shame on us for even trying.
That was overseas?
That was, well, no, that was here. That was in, what was it, Sacramento, California? San Jose, California. I was in San Jose, California. Went to my first convention there, and Streamline was the big company at the time. We were pretty new at it. We were really green, and our dubs weren't that great, but we were really working on it. We really wanted them to be good. And I was terrified, and they literally, I had death threats against me and against my family. I had to change my phone number and my email address. And I thought, I'm never going to a convention again. These people are crazy. They're going to kill me. And 10 years or so later, some of my friends had been doing conventions, and they said, no, man, the fans have gotten used to American dubs, and they're a lot nicer, and give it another shot. And I came out to some conventions, and I met some of the greatest people on the planet, and you guys are amazing. You're amazing. I've learned so much from you, and the stories you guys have told me about how our work has affected your lives have changed me. You've made me cry, you've humbled me, you've changed me on a cellular level. So that's the biggest thing. I think the community has gotten a lot more forgiving of our mistakes. And the greatest byproduct of it growing as big as it's grown, I think, is that it's given a place for people to go. These conventions are such a great place for people to go who else otherwise may not feel like they fit in society. There's a lot of people, a lot of us, I was that way too. I was a misfit. I was, like I was saying, I was overweight. I was really insecure. I got bullied all the time. And I felt like I didn't have a place in the world. I didn't really deserve to have a place in the world. I wasn't good